Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. And today we are back in the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700, taking it from Spokane, Washington, over to Seattle, Washington. We're going to be making a real quick hop, skip, and a jump, you guys, but we will be using the Overkills tutorial guide to get the aircraft ready to go. If you guys are interested, you guys can find that on the Patreon site listed in the link below. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come along down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. All right, guys, so as I said, we are taking the 737-700 out today from Spokane, Washington, over to Seattle. I've already got the flight plan created, so we're just going to jump right into the aircraft, start going through the pre-flight process, get everything programmed, and get us out of here. So let's get started. Alrighty, so first thing that we're going to do is obviously verify landing gear is down, set our parking brake, and make sure all that good jazz is ready to go. Flaps are retracted. Landing or flaps gear or flaps gauge indicates as such. Let's step upstairs here and let's start working through our checklist here. So first off, we want to make sure ground power or our battery is set. Make sure the standby power is set to auto. Where's my standby power? Yep, set to auto there. Emergency exit lights are armed and electric hydraulic pumps are set to off. Ground power, let's go ahead and flip that to the on position and make sure our wipers are in the park position as well. We already verified landing gear handles down, flaps are retracted. Nose gear lights, let's make sure they are indicating. I did not check that. Let's back up a bit. Yep. Landing gear lights are indicating down as well. And if we check the overhead panel, we also have the backup indicators indicating the same. All right, so let's move on down to the fire test for just a second here. Let's move over here. And we're just going to step on downstairs. So let's do the fault test. Let's do the overheat, get yelled at. And extinguisher bottles 1 and 2, make sure we get 3 greens. Perfect. And we need to test the cargo test system, or the cargo fire system. Yep, looking good. Step on back. Make sure the manual gear release levers are down and secured. And make sure our emergency escape rope is also secured. We would check all circuit breakers, make sure they are all pushed in and closed, but as you guys know, they're not modeled yet. Let's clear the master caution here. Let's go upstairs. Flight recorder system, let's give it a test. Light should come off. Flip the cover back down. Stall test or airspeed warning. Airspeed warning 2. Stall test. Now, this is not uncommon. We have to wait basically for the system to continue to turn on before we'll actually get that. So the issue here is I'm going too fast. But we can set our IRS over to nav. We'll check those one more time while we're here. Not yet. Okay, that's fine. We'll just say that they were good. Again, you have to wait a little while. If I remember, I'll come back up here in a minute, you guys, and show you guys how that all works. Let's go ahead and do our lights test. Do the master caution again. Do a lights test. Make sure all lights that should illuminate are illuminating. Looks good. And then we can come down and do the oxygen test. Make sure that the Doppler opens up there. All right, and now let's get into the FMC programming here for a minute. Let's see if it's too early still. Yeah, still too early. Let's see, let's come down here. We should be able to turn our packs on. Get some air conditioning running through here for a minute. And let's get down and enter in our FMC information here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to FS Actions, and I'm going to load all of my fuel and payload here. Now, there's two different ways you can do it. This way is instant. If you load it through the ground services, then you can call all your tugs and everything like that, and your rolling gas cans, and get filled up that way. I like to have everything just done and ready to go. So let's check our fuel weight first. Total fuel pounds on board today is going to be 10,960 pounds. Throw that in there. Let's go return. Let's go to payload. Economy passengers, we have 101 on board. Total of 5,600 pounds of cargo, so that's going to be 2,800 forward and aft. Keep that balanced. All right. All right, so we've got our payload set. We've got our passengers on board. We've got our fuel set. Let's go ahead and continue on down with the FMC configuration. I didn't realize I had Steam open. Sorry, guys. All right, so now let's go ahead and keep moving here. And let's move in. All right, so we're going to go to our FMC configuration. We're going to go to position initialization. Go to the next page. Always select GPS left. Don't ask me why they always select left. They just do. Put in our departure airport here. After we pop in our GPS coordinates, so KGEG. I actually did that in the reverse, but that's okay. Throw it in there, and you can see there's those coordinates that we just copied, and they usually match the one right up top. Okay, so now that we have our GPS information set in, let's go ahead and move on over to our route section. Here, once again, you can see our departure locations already pre-copied, and now we just need to put in our arrival location. Flight number, we're going to be Southwest Airlines 2210 today. I guess 210 today. We'll do Southwest Airlines 210. That's fine by me. Keep it easy for me. I don't care. Then we're going to select our departures and arrivals and start programming in our information. So go to departures. We do not have a departing SID today, so we are just using runway 03. And then we're going to come over here to the route, go to our next page. And here we can set in our next waypoint, which is a direct over to Temple. And just drop that in there just like that. If you have any questions about your coordinates, if you guys are using SimBrief, go down to the detailed flight route where it breaks down each waypoint, and you will have your longitude and latitude coordinates listed there. In our case, it's going to be this top one here. Now we're going to go back to the departures and arrivals, select our arrival. We are coming in on the Glasser 2 now. We have a Glasser 2 for runway 16 and runway 34. We are coming in on 34 today. Temple is our transition point onto the star. And again, we are looking for ILS 34 left today. We're going to be using Sonder actually as our transition point, just because it's going to make that turn a little bit tighter, take a little bit of time off our route. And hopefully all that will work out. That is a pilot and command decision, not necessarily the way that this route should be flown. I just went ahead and took that one. So next thing that we're going to do is step on down to our legs page. Let me make sure that I am following my guide here. I want to make sure that I have all that correct. So we're going to go to the legs page and let's verify our route. And how we're going to do that is we're going to step up to the FS panel real quick. Oops. Go, and we're going to move our rotary over here to plan. And you can see from here, let's extend that distance out a little bit. There you go, 40 miles, that's pretty good. And we can use our step button here to step through the flight, looking for any big backtracks, anything that's going to be of concern. Here's that change that I made. So we're going to come on down over to Sonder and then fly our way in. So from here, we'll probably switch to vectors, meaning we'll use heading select once we make the turn here, and then come back around. So should be pretty simple. A little bit of activity that we're gonna have to do on the approach, and we have our missed approach set in if needed as well. Set our nav display back to the map configuration, and then here we can activate the route. Hit execute. Let's go back here again. And let's continue with the rest of our configuration. Performance initialization is where we are at now. So 0 fuel weight, we can go ahead and just tap that. It'll load that in. Again, always do this after you have refueled. That is the easiest way to get this information in here. Our final reserves on board today is 2,000 pounds. Cost index today is 51. Cruise altitude today is actually flight level 340. So we're going to go throw that in there. Cruise wind today, you guys can find this on your SimBrief flight plan. On the top of climb is where you're going to be looking for that. So let me get over to mine here. And scroll on down. Again, looking at the detailed route, you should see one that says TOC. And then you're looking for your wind and speed. Our wind direction at top of climb is 335 degrees. And speed at top of climb is estimated at 48 knots. Throw that in there just like that. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet in the United States, so we're just going to go ahead and move on over to the N1 limit. Actually, let me go back. Let's go ahead and execute there. Now we'll go over to the N1 limit. We're going to derate down to 1, climb 1, keep things nice and sweet outside, and go to takeoff. We're going to be using flaps 5 as our performance here today. We have 120, 123, and 129. Let's move up to the FCP real quick and set 129 knots as our V2 speed. And step back downstairs. Center of gravity, give that a tap. Tap it again. We have a trim setting of 6 degrees. Let's back that down. Let me do that from here, actually. Oh, it doesn't look like I actually set that. I'll be damned. Part takes a minute. All right, that's close enough. All right, so trim is set. Let's go back to our guide. Okay, so we've got that set. Did our performance. Got our transition altitude. We got our top of climb. We set our N1 limit. We set our flaps configuration. We got our V2 speeds programmed into the box. We got our trim setting set. All right, now it's time to move back upstairs again. So let's get up there. We want to make sure that the flight controls are guarded. Yaw damper is turned on. VHF and IRS navigation both set to normal. FMC set to normal as well. Crossfeed, we're going to make sure that the valve goes to open and then dims down. Flip it down, should go back to bright. All right, that indicates that the crossfeed is working. Fuel pumps, let's go ahead and turn all of our fuel pumps on. Again, after refuel. And fuel pumps are set. Good. All right, so moving on up to the electrical system here, we want to make sure our galley power is set to on. Let's see here. Standby power is currently set in disconnect. Park or wipers, we already checked, but we're going to check again. Make sure that they're in the part configuration. And then set your panel lights as desired. Now, you would probably usually do this when you first enter into the cockpit, so that's not really a huge deal. Cooling system should be set, both supply and exhaust should be set to norm. Emergency exit lights confirmed are armed. Fasten seatbelt signs only after refuel. We want to make sure that they are set to on. And the reason why you wait till after refueling is in case there's ever an emergency during the fueling of the aircraft. You want your passengers to be able to get off the aircraft as quickly as possible and not be fiddling with seatbelts. Test the attend. Okay. And let's continue on with our checklist. Window heat, let's go ahead and flip them on. Window heats are set. Probes set to auto. Anti-ice, at the moment, we want to leave those off until we're at a position where we need them. Electric hydraulic pumps can now come on. Packs are in the auto position. And isolation valve should also be set to the open position prior to engine start. Engine bleeds are on. APU bleed set to off. Now let's go ahead and set our pressurization. So we're going to set our cruise altitude of 34,000 feet. And our landing elevation at Seattle is 350 feet is what we're going to be settling. It's actually like 378, but I believe that you set just below and not above, if memory serves. I hope I got that right. Oh, it says round up to the nearest 100. Disregard that. So we're going to set that to 400 feet. And you're going to be using your touchdown zone elevation is what you use, which you can find on your approach plate charts. Again, all of this is in the guide. At this point, we should be good to start the APU. I'm going to go ahead and flip the anti-collision lights on now. We're going to set it down to on, set it to start. The switch will return to the on position on its own. We should see the APU stabilize at right around 600 degrees on the exhaust temperature. While that's happening, and we're starting the APU, we can actually come down to the FCP or MCP and start figuring out a bit more information here. So we want to set our heading as the takeoff runway, which is 031 degrees. Set our initial altitude. We're going to go to 14,000 feet is our initial today. We actually don't have any restrictions on the departure from Spokane, but we'll set it to 14 and then climb out, basically simulating air traffic control. You know, whatchamacallit. Clearance. I don't like using the in-game ATC, so I'm really excited for Beyond ATC, guys. Stay tuned on that. We have more information coming on that, hopefully later this week. Set our displays up as desired. For takeoff, I usually do between 20 and 40 nautical miles on the display, but really it's up to you. Make sure our barometric pressure is set on the primary flight display and the standby altimeters. Set our auto brakes down to RTO for rejected takeoff in the event that we need to abort the takeoff. They're already set. And other than that, I think we are just about ready to switch over to the APU here. Let's keep checking through our guides. Parking brake we've already verified is set. Spoilers are retracted. Trim is set. Flaps are retracted. Throttle cutoff letters, nice, are there. Are in the cutoff position. Let's back down here a little bit. Stabilizer trims are both set to the normal position. Aileron trim should be zeroed, which you can find on the top of your yoke. And stepping on back, you can see the rudder trim back here on the rear pedestal. Let's go ahead and set our transponder code while we're here. Again, simulating that we've gotten a transponder code from ATC. Let's go ahead and switch that over to standby. And let's see here, 46. I'm just making numbers up here, guys. There we go. 4750 is our transponder code today. That looks good. All right, and let's start moving through our startup procedures. So the APU should be up and running. Stabilize at 400 degrees. Let's turn the APU Gen on. I always forget to do this. Dang it, other way. And then I'll turn the ground power off and really get pissed off when everything shuts off. All right, so we're going to now, let's see here, turn our APU Gen off, ground services. Let's go ahead and disable the ground power. Step on down here, which actually that did when I turned the APU gens on. I didn't need to do that. Let's remove the ground power. So ground power is now disconnecting, and we can also remove the wheel chocks as well. Once you have your parking brake set, removing the chocks, you guys will notice actually removes the jetway as well. So it's sort of a one-stop shop if you guys are interested. Door should be closing, should be releasing, getting out of here. It's supposed to get out of here. Oh, it used to. Maybe they fixed that. All right. So all you got to do is set your chocks, release the jetway. There it goes. I've had weird issues with the simulator lately in getting rid of the jetway. All right. Now let's go ahead and remove the chocks. Verify parking brake still set. It is indeed. Probably should have done that in the reverse order, but hey, nobody's perfect. At this point, you would check all of your doors. I didn't open any doors, so I'm not too concerned about it. But you know what? Let's do it the fun way if we're going to do it. Yep. All doors are closed. Makes it fun. Okay, coming back over here. All right, so now let's step back upstairs and let's get ready for engine start and pushback. So the first thing that we're going to do is set our packs to the off position. APU bleed, it needs to go to the on position. Anti-collision lights, again, are on. Transponder, make sure that the altitude reporting is off. Master caution, let's see if we have one. Let's go ahead and reset. And transponder, let's go ahead and move it down here and go to altitude reporting off. All right, so basically we've just turned the transponder on, but it's not actually reporting anything. And we can now request the pushback. So let's do that. Just doing one quick check, make sure I didn't miss anything up here. I like to go through my flow, especially since it's been so long since I've flown it. Been a really long time since I've been in the 737. Okay, so here we're going to come back here. We're going to go to pushback. And I actually want standard L. And no, I want to turn the nose to the left. And we're going to do 90 degrees. I actually, if I remember correctly, we're parked at sort of a goofy angle. Yeah. Let's set this to like 130 degrees is the turn. That should be about right. Why won't you let me change that? Do I have to click it? I thought it used to let you change these. Anyways, tug. We want our tug. Got to have our tug. I wonder why it won't let me change that. That kind of sucks. All right. Well, I guess that's all I get. Anyway, that's fine. No big deal. So, let's start.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our right. Copy that. Ready for push, tail right. Release parking brake, please.
All right. He said release the parking brake, so just give me a second here. I'm just checking everything to make sure that we're actually ready for that. And it looks like we are. Okay. So, now, let's get the fun part going here. And parking brakes released. We're going to start the right engine first.
Brakes released, here we go.
And start that right engine up. I hate that you really can't hear the engines. It kind of bummed me out.
Pushback complete. Parking brake, please. Brake set. All right, steering pin is disconnected. Watch for the slip release from guidance on your left. Have a good flight.
Yeah, the sounds are so quiet back there. Alright, set these both to continuous. Alright, at this point, turn our engine generators on. APU can go to off. APU bleed can go to off. Probe heat now goes to on. Anti-ice stays in the off position for now, until we need it. Pax can now go to auto. Isolation valve goes to auto. And let's go ahead and set our flaps to flaps 5. Okay. Quick recall. All right. Verify flap position is in fact flaps 5. RTO is set. Parking brake is set. Both the fuel shutoff valves are in idle. Throttles are at idle. Trim is set. I think we're getting close here, guys. Just about ready to get out of here. Like I said, it has been a while. That is for sure. Let's come up top. Turn our taxi light on. Now, there is a section that I think that I skipped, so give me a second because I'm a little concerned because we haven't touched the MCP yet. So give me just a second. Going back through the checklist. Yep, there it is. All right, so we did. I just didn't do it right. Okay, so I just skipped a step. Flight directors is what I missed. So flight directors are now set. Initial altitude set. Takeoff heading is set. V2 is set. Got our FS set. RTO is set. Got our baro set. Okay. All right. That's what I was looking for. I was kind of worried. I knew I was missing something. So just the flight directors. So that makes it easy, I guess. Oh, hey, while I'm thinking about it, let me see if I can get up there and show you guys now. See, there's stall 1. Stall 2 still doesn't work. I don't know why number 2 never works. It never works for me. But the first one does. But that's all right. All right, I think we're ready for taxi. So let's do this. Let me get back down here. Yep. All right. Let's go. Parking brakes released. You want to monitor your ground speed, 10 knots or below for turns, and then you can normally taxi between 20 and 25 knots as long as you don't have any obstructions or safety concerns with doing so. All right, let's do our final configurations here. All right, so prepare for takeoff. Taxi light comes off. Runway turn off lights if needed, but we're just going to use our landing lights at this point. There we go. All right, engine continuous. Position lights to strobe and steady. Come down to the MCP. Arm auto throttle. Arm LNAV. See, this happened to me before. I don't know why LNAV doesn't arm for me. All right, guys. So, interesting piece of information. I went and found out about this one because I've never ran into that before. If the track, okay, so the heading, if you guys look at our first heading, 259 degrees, if it is not within 5 degrees of the runway heading, which our runway heading is 031 degrees, if the two tracks are not within 5 degrees of each other, you will not be able to arm LNAV while on the ground. I did not know that, so I figured I'd share it with you. All right. In that case, we've done all we can do. Oh, no, we haven't. Hang on. Transponder. TARA. Let's make sure I didn't skip anything else. Nope, I think we're good to go. All right. Up we go. Made that turn a little wider than I needed to, but that's all right. All right. Let's advance the engines to about 40%. And let's toga this baby. Try to get back on center line here. Kick my rudders a little bit. Cross-checked.
E1. Rotate.
Rotating.
Positive reincline.
Gear up. Flaps to flaps 1. And flaps up. LNAV, VNAV active, autopilot on board. She has control. Let's go ahead and increase our altitude target. Say we don't have any restrictions, so we're going to go all the way up. All right, we are on our way. All right, landing lights. Turn off lights. Engines can come out of continuous. Landing gear handle go to off. Auto brakes to off. Seatbelt signs above 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and set them to the auto position. Got a nice smooth flight planned for us today. Shouldn't be expecting too many bumps. Oops. Let's go ahead and send our nav display out quite a bit here. Climbing like a rocket today. But looking absolutely beautiful. A few thousand feet to go here until it's time to switch our altimeter. So we'll just kick back and enjoy the views. Alright guys, so as we get closer to 30,000 feet, I'm going to go ahead and do it now, but we're going to restrict the bank angle down to 10 degrees. The reason why we do that is the air gets so thin up there that if you overbank the aircraft, you lose too much lift and take a risk of doing a wing stall, which I've heard the passengers get a little complacent about. So that is the reason why we do that. And then once we drop below, you know, I normally wait till about the same distance, 27,000 feet, somewhere in there. But once you dive back down below that same altitude and the air starts to thicken up a bit, we'll increase that back up to, I think, 25 degrees where it is by default. But from this point on, guys, we're just going to be sitting tight until our top of descent. We've got about, 80 miles almost right on the money until the top of descent. So we're literally going to get up to cruise, and then it's going to be time to come right back down again. So be a nice short flight. So I'll catch you guys in just a minute. All right, folks, back on the flight deck here. We are going to now, I'm going to set my nav display down to about 80 miles now. And we're going to start prepping for the descent. So first thing I'm going to be looking at is my target touchdown zone elevation, which as we know is almost right on the deck. So I'm going to go ahead and set our target altitude all the way down to 2,000 feet. There we go. That way she'll start descending as soon as we reach that top of descent point. So we got that part labeled in. Then we're going to also set our minimums. And our minimums for SeaTac is going to be 579 feet. Okay. As we approach the top of descent here, we're a few minutes out. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it now. Let's make sure our passengers are back in their seats. Let everybody know we're getting ready to descend our aircraft. And that should be easy peasy. I think we're just about ready. Just walk through the checklist here for a second, see if I'm missing anything. Oh, let's go ahead and look for our ILS frequency while we're here. It'll be 11075. We also want our final runway heading. It's going to be 344. So there's 344 there. Although we may end up changing that. What am I doing? 11075, that's what we want. back my camera up a little bit. There we go. That's better. All right, so let's set ILS 11075 and swap that up. There we go. So ILS frequency is locked in. Minimums are in. Target altitude is in. Runway heading, although again, we'll probably have to use heading mode at some point because I think we have a vectors approach after our initial, or to get onto the initial. Everything else, I think, looks good for our descent. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes when we reach it. All right, you guys. So as you guys can see, we have started a very rapid descent. Holy crap! But all right. I mean, that's the way it goes. That's the way it's going to go. So I did want to show you guys a couple cool things you guys can do to sort of help make things a bit easier as you start your approach in. So guys, you know we are coming in on runway 34 left. So I'm going to, I think you have to type runway. Stand by. I got to remember how to do this. It's been a while. Runway, is it 34 left? Yes. All right, so what you can do here is we can set sort of radials up. So I'm going to do 5 miles. Damn it, typed it in wrong. /5. Yep, there we go. Then I'm going to do one at /10. And these are real handy markers that it creates on the nav display. Expand that out a little bit. There you go. Back up one. That's sort of, you can use as markers of when you need to have X, Y, Z accomplished, right? So at 10 miles, we want to make sure that we're starting to slow down, you know, and things like that, and getting just sort of warning labels, if you will, sort of indicators of things that you need to make sure that you have done soon. So just wanted to show that to you guys. Thought you guys might appreciate that. So anyway, let's see here. We have started our descent. We're passing through 27,000 again, so we can get our bank angle degrees restored to where they were at default. We need to set up our performance information. Let me come back down here. Where's our performance page? I always forget. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. That's the progress page. The N1 limit? No. What am I looking for? Anybody know? Because I clearly don't. Go to initial reference. Gosh, there we go. Thank you. Approach reference. That's what I was looking for. And we want flaps 30. Drop that in there. So we'll be looking at a final reference or approach speed of 127 knots. Easy peasy stuff. Let's go back to our legs page. And everything else just about set, guys. Just a matter of sort of writing it out until we get to our closer to the initial fix. What I'm going to do as we get close to the initial fix is I'm going to put it into heading mode. So unfortunately, me putting that in there was useless at this time, but at least now I have the reference of the number. Fly alongside it, and then I'm going to turn us around manually and then get us back on track. It just makes the transition a bit shorter. The transition point that it wanted us to use by default was out here and a little bit better, a little bit smoother, but it was way out here. It was just quite a bit further than what I wanted to go. This way, we just sort of cut in and join the initial fix. Hopefully that all works out, but we'll find out here in a few minutes. At 18,000 feet, we'll obviously be resetting our barometric pressure to what it currently is, but everything else is set to go, guys, at this point. We just want to make sure we're also slowed down to 250 knots by 10,000 feet, but the aircraft, I believe, should take care of that automatically here. But we'll be monitoring that as we come down. All right, folks, so we're coming up on 12,000 feet now. The aircraft is automatically preparing itself for our speed down to 250 knots. We've decreased our range here on the visibility down to 40 miles. I'm actually going to decrease that a little bit further because I want to make sure that I catch my turn where I want to be. When it comes time to go into heading select, the other thing we're going to do is set our auto brakes. set that to auto brakes 3. Assuming that we don't need our spoilers, we're going to arm it. So far, it's been pretty good. Continuing our descent down, I also set our initial altitude actually up to 5,000 feet, which is our initial fix altitude. So we're going to use that as our target. Everything else is all set. ILS is set. Programs are set. Fix rings are set. Let's get our landing lights turning back on. Oop. Engine's back into continuous. Alright guys, so we're close enough now where I'm happy to start making some turns. I'm going to set my heading mode up here first. And we're also going to go to speed intervention here. Start slowing us down. I'm going to bring landing gear handle back to the up position. You know what's sad is I forgot what that runway heading was. 344. Okay. Remember that. Alright, so you can see there the what am I looking for? LNAV has acquired the ILS. We're going to maintain manual here for a little bit, so we get a little bit closer. And let's go ahead and set our track. And from here, I should be able to activate the approach mode. Come off heading select. Come on, baby, grab it. Well, where are you going, darling? That was weird. Why did you do that? Wasn't expecting that to happen. That was very awkward. Why did it do that? Not on an intercept reading. Alright, fair enough. Exactly what we were talking about before. There we go. Let's try that again. Now the approach mode seems to be working. Excellent. All right, we're on track. The things we learn. It's almost like I talked about that right before we took off. Let's set our final runway heading just in case we need it. There she goes. We are actually a little high. Let's see if we're going to capture our... Oh no, Hipro I think was our 5,000 target. Double check our chart here. Yes, okay. So we're on point. Oh no, we're not. Sweetheart, you need to descend. We're above the glide slope by a lot. Alright, vertical speed. Get your butt down there. We're also going to start reducing speed down to our reference. Let's get some flaps in. Going for flaps 5 at the moment. This was not a request. Airplane, descend. Ooh, this should be a go-around. This should really be a go-around. All right. I botched this one. All right, we're going to see if I can fix this, guys. We're 1,000 feet off. I can't fix this. Let's do a go around. We're just gonna do a lazy go around. All right, let's go back into heading select and let's spin it. I am actually going to come out of vertical speed. Let's do an altitude hold. Certainly not my best approach. Look at this angle that we're coming at it. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Alright, what's our reference? Looks like she's already said it.
Traffic. Traffic.
Alright. See if I can embarrass myself even further here. Too low.
Airspeed full. Airspeed full.
Too low.
100. 50. 30. 10.
Ooh. Ugly landing. All right, let's watch this disaster. Damn, dude. Oh, let go. That sucks. That was awful. Is it just me or the spoilers not deploy? That was horrible. Freaking horrible. Well, I think that's been enough fun for one day, but if you guys know, you know, and that was definitely not a good landing. There was nothing good about that landing. Trust me, I'm well aware of the mistakes that were made. Doesn't take long for things to get ahead of you, that's for sure. But at the very least, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.